What is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, cloud swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Hope you guys are feeling good. We got some more news over the weekend, which I guess uh we weren't expecting no news over the weekend. So we got some news, kind of, I guess. It's been disputed at this point, but potential news of no tariffs to cell phones and computers, chips, things like that. However, the White House came out and said that's not true, and it's fake news. We kind of saw that with the 90-day pause, so we'll see how it plays into effect. Regardless, market's gapping up, market's feeling good, but we got Albert in the house. Good morning to you. Good morning to Amy, Anna, DK. Good morning to Frank. Holly's in the house. Good morning to JT, Keith, Lauren, Lucian, Mark. Michael's in the house. Good morning to Peter, Rob, Wendy, all my people out in YouTube land. We got Hostile in the house. Good morning to you. Jason, good morning. We got Ray in YouTube land. Good morning to you. All my lurkers in the back of YouTube just sitting there watching. It's okay. I still love you. Hit that like and subscribe button. But yeah, if you guys want to throw any comments into the chat, you're more than welcome to. If you got tickers you want to take a look at, throw those names out there. We'll take a look together. If you have questions in general, let me know. Lucian from Wisconsin today. Okay. World traveler, or at least state traveler. One of them. One of those two. But yeah, and then also in the chat, Holly, I think you're on host and panelist. If you guys don't mind, just putting the chat on everyone. Otherwise, everyone just thinks I talk to myself all day, which sometimes, who knows. Otherwise, we got SPY pretty good gap up so far. It is a retest gap from Friday. So we're gonna have to consider that retest spot. If we pull back, we're looking for like 534.47 to hold. You do have you're gonna be met very soon with the 20 EMA. That's somewhere right around 545.56. And then more importantly, we have the 90-day tariff candle, which is the biggest move, one day single move ever in the market. So historic day. Can we get above that today? I don't know. So a little bit of some resistance coming in. I got to assume the high of that day, somewhere around 548.62 is going to be a little resistance. If we can get past it, the next immediate spot I got is 551.43. It's an okay level. It's not huge. The next level I think is a little bit more appropriate for today would be 556.59 if we want to go in a bullish direction. If we just don't do an inside day candle, kind of range bound between 542.76 and 535, 534.80, somewhere in there. So could be a little bit of a range bound day. Otherwise, I do love the location that we're opening in. So even though we have resistance above us, even though we have that technically a retest gap from Friday, you got some good news that we are gapping up off of. We could at any point. We've already heard the other side of the coin saying that it's not true news and the market is just not caring. So if we want to keep on to that positivity and just go, okay, well, they did the same thing with the 90-day tariff pause. Markets loved it. Then they're like, okay, it's not happening. And then it came out and we had a massive day. If people are kind of setting up for that range, we might be able to make it through that 20 EMA. And as long as we stay above, let me see if I can get a specific level. I got 542.53. So if we open anywhere above that, we have a chance to go long. It's not going to be easy, but I think we have a chance. Otherwise, anything below that, I probably would look to just be shorting for a quick move. See if you want to go long again, somewhere around 534.56. So we'll see on that range of things. Busy week this week. It is a short week, so we're not going to be around on Friday as the market's closed. But we have till Thursday, so very, very short week. And we still have Jerome Powell. He's going to speak, I believe, 1:15 on Wednesday. That's going to be big. We have earnings starting to kick in. I would say most notably, you got Netflix on Thursday, but there's another sneaky one in there on Thursday too. TSM, I think, is going to be a little bit of a sigh of relief because again, or just a damning stock. We'll see what happens. But Netflix, they still kind of held pretty well. They're off the highs. They're not really tariff concerned, I wouldn't say. I don't think they have too much in worries about tariffs. Maybe some of the production as they do production themselves, some of the equipment that they might need or whatever the case. That might affect the bottom line on Netflix, but for the most part, something like TSM, I think is a little bit more. influential in terms of what the rest of the chips could do and how the rest of the chips are feeling. So I actually think TSM might be a bigger one to watch even than Netflix, but all eyeballs will be pretty much Netflix for Thursday. Let's see. Lucia says that my little that 70s show not up here. Did you sing the song as you entered? Hello, Wisconsin. Peter says 1 week, one plan. Next week, another plan. Welcome to Looney Tunes land. Not only is that a statement, but it's a little tribute to Dr. Seuss, I think. That almost every word in that sentence rhymed. That's incredible, to be honest. Pretty incredible. But Q, same thing. So you do have a nice little gap up. This one is above your 20 EMA. So yeah, your 28 EMA somewhere around 462.61. That's not too bad. It is a retest gap, so if we end up breaking down that 20, we might see a full-on retest. I got two levels on this one. So the first one where maybe we get held up is somewhere right around probably 450, 455.25. The next level after that, you got the full-on retest from Friday's VPOC 454.19. So I think that's a generally good range. It also keeps you above the Thursday hammer, inside day candle hammer. So not bad on that one, but not much else really holding us up. I don't love the EMAs; they're not my favorite, but we do have that holding us up maybe for a small little pullback high wave candle. Otherwise, we are starting to face resistance pretty quickly out of the gate. 466.83, a little bit of a head room. You got to clear through headspace. You got to kind of move your way through. Otherwise, the next spot after that, 471.04. I think if we do the honor of getting above that candle, I probably would actually be looking for 475.25 as target for today. We'll see what happens, but inside day technically from that monstrosity Wednesday, and it is a retest gap. I don't know why, but I'm feeling like we get a little bit of a pullback first as opposed to we just run it up like crazy. So we'll see. I really don't want to go too bullish today, but some of these depends on where some of these things open. TLT, so that one is it was pulling back before, gained a little bit of legs, I guess, pre-market. That one's got room up to like 87.38. If that could get above there, we might be off to the races, have a little bit more room on TLT, and maybe this pullback is just a retest from where we just gapped out of. We closed that gap, and maybe TLT could be setting up to go a little bit long. The other one is we'll take a look at Bitcoin, BTC, USD. Let's see how crypto markets were a little bit all over the place, but relatively flat for the weekend. Nothing really too crazy happened, even though the markets were moving. The initial reaction off of the positivity of the news that there's no tariffs on iPhones or computers, the Bitcoin for some reason liked it. Other than that, when it got negated, it was down. So you're seeing almost real-time emotions in Bitcoin of how that played out while the market kind of just opened up. Futures fairly strong. We did pull back from the open, but then kind of ran it up. So still hanging out. We got Bitcoin. I think your next stop on this one, you're sitting right at that 200 EMA. That one's going to be a big one to break through. Otherwise, good location for now. We are above today's VPOC. We've been above the last few days VPOC. I think next target on this one probably takes us about 86,932. So as long as we could sneak above that 200 again, we should be a little bit off to the races. We do have a double bottom on Bitcoin, so that's interesting. This is a new lower low. We really need to start putting a new higher high to change directions on this one. But I think our next stop at least is 86,932. And then if we get any closes past 88,212, I think that's where our first new high comes in. See if there's a pullback, and then I think it's buy the dip for Bitcoin at least short term. We'll see. Like Peter said, every week's a little different. This market will keep you guessing. All right, so I think I saw a couple tickers come in. Let me just see. Uh, Real Virtual Demand's got a few of them. So we got Bitcoin covered, SPY we covered. He's giving us the playlist that we just already went through. That's incredible strategy. All right, we got Hormel Foods. We did not cover this one. I don't think ever. So it's either we've covered them every day, or he's throwing out ones we've never even looked at. But Hormel Foods, interesting double bottom on a swing trade basis. You got good resistance somewhere around $30.74. Your 200 sits at 31.01. For today, it's actually gapping down, doing something a little bit different than the market. I don't know if this is the real ticker, if I'm at the right spot. which is HRL, is what you gave me. I don't see anything too crazy about today, so it is a gap down. Um, your spot, if you were bullish, you'd like to see hold somewhere around $30.21. Otherwise, right now we're below that. I think your next immediate spot, $30.07. I don't see anything too crazy in this one. So maybe it gets held there. I think your best case scenario for a short side, 29.86. I don't think I would probably touch this one long until you start breaking out of $30.34, but don't be foolish. There is big resistance right above you, so you have to be careful of all that, or just be aware you think it's going to break, then maybe you're going bullish above that. Otherwise, I think just inside day, chilling out for now. Let's see. Progressive was on the list for real virtual demand as well. We got this one's slightly better. Slightly better. So there's a little bit of a gap up. The spot you wanted to clear, 25.38. It is a retest gap. We're not too far away from that support. I think I'd rather see this one drop a little bit at open, some profit taking into this 25.38 zone, 25.39. And then my targets for today would be 25.99. So from where we're opening, it's about 39 cents. Usually not a big mover in the markets, all still with inside that big massive candle that we had. So that's still going to play a little effect. But maybe for a swing trade, if you're trying to set it up, clear downtrend still on all of this. Um, yeah, we're still kind of playing off that big gap from I think February. What is that? February 19th. So we haven't really put in new higher highs at all since then. So the trend is definitely down. But if you're looking for an interesting buy spot, yeah, a little bit of longer term support for maybe a swing trade. Day trade, I think, is going to be a little bit tougher on this one. Just knowing that all those moving averages are still trending down. You're just really trying to find some kind of a bottom, some kind of support on that one. Lucia says there's news that even the bond markets are not seeing the volume they should be seeing with the markets pulling back. Apparently, a sign of a recession. Well, Lucian, you traveled cross country. You tell me, boots on the ground, what do you think? Do you are you seeing a recession? There's also a big recession is a scary word that people throw around. It's not really always that bad. Just because we have a recession doesn't really even mean that people feel it. Some recessions can get bad. Like don't be mistaken. And then if we're in a actual recession, it could last 18 months, 2 years, something in that range on average. But a lot of times, most recessions, a lot of them that we have, will have a recession that people don't really feel as much. You get more consumer confidence to the downside, the negative side, because they just keep hearing the word. But a lot of times, it doesn't really affect people on a day-to-day basis. So possibly a recession. How bad that recession is, that's a whole different story. Let's see. We got TSM. Yeah, there you go. Lucian says, nope, folks are spending like they are rock stars. There you go. There you go. If there is a recession, they haven't felt it yet. TSM. But if they're spending like rock stars and we are in a prolonged pullback recession, that they're really not doing a smart thing today. If we hit that, but it doesn't seem like too much concern. Yeah, I haven't seen really besides maybe social media, which is the word Trump will also be used somewhere in that statement, and that's about it. But you got TSM, so that one is gapping up. This is a retest gap from Friday. You're also still inside this candle. TSM, watch for a little bit of resistance somewhere around 159. Let's see, I think I got a little higher. 159.97. We'll call it 160. I'd say anything above 160, you should have room on TSM up to like 165.22. Again, I believe their earnings are Thursday. Usually, the play has been buy before earnings. Maybe that's going to be the case for this one. I don't know. But TSM probably enjoying the rest of the move that Nvidia, Apple, all those guys are having right now. They're in a little bit different situation, I think, but still a little bit of a gap up. So we'll see on this one. But 160 is going to be a big key number, also a little psychological number for them too. Anything above it, then I think you do put in some decent room. Got another almost $6 higher. Otherwise, if you're really looking to get in, maybe somewhere around 157.11. The numbers could be good on TSM for the earnings, and this is I think we just saw it with what was it some retailer Levi's I think, but their earnings that came out I think it was last week. They were talking, and the numbers weren't horrible, they weren't bad. But the biggest thing is it's going to be hard to throw guidance, like increase guidance or upgrade guidance, if they don't know the tariffs. So guidance this quarter is going to be tough. Otherwise, I think something like Apple, something like a lot of these things that we've been talking about getting hit with tariffs for a while. I think people went ahead and bought things ahead of tariff announcements in case the price went up. They already have their stuff. They don't have to worry. So I think the numbers actually this quarter probably not bad for any companies that were facing tariffs. It just comes down to now where do they guide and how do they feel and all that stuff. So we will see. Lydia says there are way more people now than ever buying $1 million second homes here at the beach that you've seen. It's crazy how much cash people have. Yeah. And they might be looking into two homes even for protection. They might be trying to get that bit of asset with some potential income generating opportunities in case we have prolonged pullback. That would be an interesting investment just as even a hedge for inflation. TSM, but yeah, watch that 160 zone. What was the other one we saw? SMCI, and then I got Palantir. SMCI almost feels like it hasn't moved in the last few months. We are down a little bit since I guess February. Not really a huge range comparative to a lot of other things. So I think it's still kind of low. I'm still wildly profitable right now. I think I got in like, I don't know, 24, 25, somewhere in that zone. So I'm still up actually on the year for SMCI, but it hasn't really done much. Interesting location though. I'm kind of liking where we're opening. If we could open here somewhere around 3506, you're gonna be met with some downtrending moving averages. The 20 obviously is the first one. I think targets today, if this thing can get going, is probably only going to take you to like 36, 39. Stretch target for today about 37. So I'd almost want to see this one. I don't know. A small high wave candle. I'd have to if I take this one bullish, it would have to be a small, tighter setup. I don't think it has too much room in it unless we get something crazy. I thought SMCI would have actually had a bigger move than what we're having for today, but we haven't really seen as wide of a range to the downside either on SMCI. So potentially that maybe we might have to just wait for earnings on SMCI. Palantir, nice gap up on Palantir. Big resistance. I think this one is a retest from Friday. It's a retest from Thursday. It's a retest from Wednesday. The only thing we're still kind of gapping going is above the Tuesday candle, and we have some people sitting in gains. Big move though. That's a good move on Palantir into a big resistance. I think this is my short candidate unless we can start getting above about $96. Anything above 96, we have a shot to have a remarkable move up to about $100.92. We'll call it 101. But big resistance that we're sitting at now. And 3 days of people buying, this might be an opportunity for people to close some of those positions, take some gains. That seems to be the play so far in 2025. If you get that gap, you take the gains, and you only look back when it's back to your price or lower. But that looks like probably a fade opportunity. Watch it around $96 though. If it starts to break out of there, you might be able to reverse that position. You got Hood. Hood is, yeah, I was looking at this one before. I kind of like it. Kind of like Hood. Back in like some levels from March, there's a little resistance. I don't know. We've been there a few times. I think we get above it, although I think somewhere around 46, 44 should be a little bit of a tiny resistance spot. That's also kind of retesting the first breakdown. Otherwise, I think targets today could take us to about 47.82. I think we could probably eventually get past that if this market doesn't just kind of give back a whole bunch of gains from over the weekend. As long as we don't do that, I think we do have some room. It is a retest gap from Friday, same thing. The only thing difference with this one and Palantir is this one's not gapping into a big resistance. But you have 44.77 should be some type of support. If that starts breaking down, then I'll make the case for a full on retest of 43.57 as potential next spot to look to buy. But we're not really at the bigger resistance quite yet. So I think this one does have some room. Let's get this one up higher. There was another one that you guys do like to trade a lot. I've been in a couple swings on it. We've taken a couple day trades, but Shopify was looking pretty good pre-market too. This one I think has a little bit more room than so far everything we've looked at and a few other tickers that I looked at before hopping on. But this one has a good looking hammer from Wednesday, decent looking hammer-ish from Thursday. But that Friday candle, we're starting to take that out. We're above the spot. If we get a pullback, look for some kind of support around 84.55. What I like on this one is your next target is the high of that crazy day that takes you up to 91.42. So on an $86 stock, that's a potential $5 move. I think Shopify has a decent amount of range in it for today. So that is this is one that I will be personally looking at. Um, yeah, really good resistance, but a bit higher. So if we could get a pullback on this one, fantastic. We get better risk reward. Otherwise, some kind of high wave candle, we might take a shot on that one as well. Let's see. I'm missing a whole bunch of tickers. Let's see. We got Apple AAPL. Peter says, yeah, one very important note here is that investors are pulling back from buying US government bonds. Maybe not the US investors. I think US investors are still. What's actually happening with the bond market is you have a lot, like China owns a lot of US bonds. Like they hold a lot of US debt that they're investing in. As a way for them to kind of maintain the price, and they'd have to do a lot more devaluing, but they're devaluing the dollar, and they're doing that by selling US treasuries. So again, what that would end up doing is as they sell large amounts of treasuries, the rates for those bonds will actually go higher, and then the government, when they refinance their debt as they continue to sell bonds, they're now paying higher pricing, means that mortgage rates go up and all that stuff goes up too. So, it's a lot of China pulling out of the U.S. Treasuries. It's a way to kind of devalue their own currency and then try to keep the at least the prices for Chinese products as low as possible, considering everything that's happening. So, but when you throw 145% tariff on something, they have to they have to do a lot of devaluation. Otherwise, I think they're going to feel it almost one way or the other. But especially if it's prolonged for sure. Apple. So this is a good gap up. Biggest problem on this one, you have 7 days of some sideways consolidation, lots of VPOCs, lots of resistance, and we're just a quick skip and a hop away from that. So look for like 212.52 all the way up to big resistance to about 215.10. I'd be concerned about that resistance. You also have a retest gap from Friday. We had a strong move on Friday inside, but still bullish on Thursday, and then obviously that massive move on Wednesday. So I think this is maybe I'd be leaning a little bit more toward the retest, especially if it's coming out that the rumors aren't true. But I was as soon as I heard the news, the Apple I think was my first thought. First thought on this one, I'm like, you know what? Who sells the most phones? It's going to be Apple. Who's the biggest player in computers? It's going to be Apple. Probably the most directly affected by no tariffs to Apple's to phones and computers. Lydia says, coming from the insurance market, I find recession hard to believe. Well, it could happen, but it's the word recession is actually just a technical term, and then the what happens from there, where you get maybe possible credit ratings messed with, you get other like it could have lingering effects, but we've had quick recessions and people don't even know. I think the last time was I think it was like 20. I think we were sitting technically in one. Was it 2021? Something like that. I'm not sure. We got Hood. He is pretty good on this one. I don't think we covered this one. We did, I think. Yeah, look for that pullback. We covered this one already. Let's see. Explanation. NVIDIA. We have not looked at that one. So NVDA. Can't remember which ones today we covered and we didn't cover. What a start to Monday. We're also going to pull up Tesla next too. We got Nvidia. This one is again same thing from Friday. Technically, it is a retest gap. You're at least above that big monstrosity Wednesday candle. This one again is into a little bit of resistance. So your first spot to look somewhere around 115.84. If we could get above it, you have a resistance not too far away, 117.26. Some of these names, probably the ones that have already had these big moves. I don't know. The markets are crazy. Maybe we could just get some crazy follow through on everything. But otherwise, I'm just looking at a technical basis on things. There's a lot of resistance on some of these things. Apple and Nvidia both kind of sitting in that camp. Tesla, where you might want to wait for a retest on some of those names if you're not in it already. Tesla looks interesting. So this one is we have this candle from March 10th where we said, okay, this looks like a little bit of capitulation. We ended up coming down. We did break through that level. We never got a close past it, very close to it. Actually, that one's a perfect double bottom. That one as well got taken out on this Wednesday. Big resistance for me, somewhere around 252. You guys know I've been looking at that level for quite some time. We pretty much closed right at it on Thursday. We pretty much closed right at it, although Friday is still a little bit weaker. Today you're starting to get that gap up. I wouldn't be surprised. You're still very small range, but if you get a little tiny pullback, watch for like 256.82. Maybe we make our way down back to this like 253.57 zone, somewhere in there as a next support. But if we can start breaking out of like where we're sitting now looks good. I don't really have much in the way until about 268. So that will give us about $10 to the higher side. If we get some sustained rally, something crazy, could be over the next couple days. Doesn't have to be today. I don't think we hit 280 today, but I don't want to say never. Otherwise, I got 280.12 as my really the bigger target on Tesla for now. And then if we can start getting close above that, this double bottom could look good. So we're still in the chop zone. I think we have a little bit of room higher. So if this, I'll watch this one at open, see what happens. The closer I could get it really to like 254, 84s, somewhere in that zone. Probably a little lower, 253.50, let's say. But the closer I can get to that, I think the better risk to reward I have. We have that 20 blocking us. So that 20 EMA might hold us down a little bit, but the first support is right below us. That's a big one that we have to kind of get some candles to close above. We'll see if today's the day we close above it, and then maybe tomorrow we'll get that breakout if it doesn't happen today. But Tesla is definitely on the watch list for today as well. Wendy says she feels that we are in a recession. They're just not spelling it out. All right, so we have Wendy feeling recession. Bull is bull. Bull is out trading. Yeah, I don't know what that means. Weeble, I think, is what you're saying. Yeah. HB, I think, is Weeble. No. What's a Weeble ticker? They came out quietly. Is it just Bull? Yeah, Weeble came out. So Weeble IPO'd on Friday. Nobody really knew about it, but big gap up today because it started to make its way around. I don't know how everybody missed the Weeble trade, but they're out there. They're up over 100% today. So be careful of this one. Maybe some kind of a pullback, but I think people are still kind of finding out. Tesla's off to the move. But everybody at YouTube land, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe buttons if you've not done so already. That is the morning bell. Be careful today.